I have a confession to make. I'm not even really a huge bachata fan. I often find modern bachata in particular to be overly melodramatic or even cheesy. That being said, I respect the genre, the musicians who make it, and the people who enjoy listening to and or dancing to it. Bachata is a genre originally from the Dominican Republic. It has become popular throughout Latin America, Spain, and beyond. It's known as somewhat of a romantic genre of music. It just very much has that connotation. And it's kind of interesting because if you type in bachata tutorial into YouTube, the grand majority of the videos that pop up will be related to dancing bachata. Obviously, this video is about music production. Alright, so bachata is divided into 3 parts. There's Derecho / Caminando, then there's the Majao, and finally the Mambo. Let's head on over to our DAW and break those down one by one. But first, let's look at our sound palette. Here we are in Ableton, 2 instruments, super easy. I'm using the Ableton Live Latin percussion pack. So we go in here, go to drums, instrument kits, and it says Bongo A and Bongo B. This is a little confusing. In my opinion, it should say bongos, since bongos are like shoes, they come in pairs. So we're just gonna drag this over here. And let's rename this just bongos. We have all our articulations down here that we want. So next instrument is the guira. If I go to type in guira, you'll see there's nothing. The guira is hiding amidst the guiros. It is a little frustrating because they are 2 different instruments. You'll see they have it under wood, which is kind of ironic because it's not a wood instrument, it's a metal instrument. So we're looking for the guiro C. We're going to put all of these in here. And the idea with the guiro, even though we have 4 different racks here, we're going to treat it as one instrument. So let's group them together. While we're here, let's rename them. I'm going to Control Shift, or I guess just Shift, Control G to make this a group. And then we're going to call the group Guira. Alright, so for the purposes of this tutorial, we're going to break things down into an AABA jazz format. The first 2 A sections are going to be Derecho / Caminando. B section is going to be our Majao, and then the last A is our Mambo. I'm not sure if this is common practice in bachata music, but I just thought it would be practical. Okay, so here we are. We got our 2 instruments that we need, and now we're going to go to the fun part, programming. As you'll see in session view, I have our sections. So this is our first A, B, A. So let's just draw something in here. Get our Control J. Okay, so for the first part, this is an 8th note based pattern. And this is the martillo pattern. So for those of you unfamiliar, the martillo pattern is a heel, toe, slap, toe, heel, toe, slap, slap. So we're just going to draw that in here. I'm going to speed it up. Alright, so now I'm going to do Control D. And we'll just leave it there. So what's that sound like? Let's spice it up a little bit. And you know, normally I would want these velocity markers to kind of be uneven to simulate actual playing, but we're not gonna do that because that takes too long. Okay, so I've varied it up a little bit. Let's see what it sounds like now. Yeah, so we have a little more momentum going, I'd say now. So we're going to do Control E to cut that. And we can delete this. Do a Control D. And we're going to start off where we left off. So let's do some flams. Everyone loves flams. Get rid of that. Okay, so let's listen to that. Maybe get rid of that. Yeah, I'm digging that. I really like these flams here that kind of coincide with those bass notes. It sounds nice. It sounds musical. For the second half of the Caminando Derecho, maybe we can copy and paste that one there and, not have to worry about it. And then let's kind of see what the bass is doing as we go into the chorus. So we got quarter notes. We're going to do like a hemiola type of deal here. So if you guys don't know what a hemiola is, it's kind of a repeated rhythmic figure that doesn't necessarily line up with the beat, but that's what makes it sound cool. So it's that, that, and that will give it a cool feel against those quarter notes on the bass. Let's listen. Okay, so cool. I think that leaves us in a good place for the Majao. Now we're going to go to the Guira. Okay, so for the Guira, I like to imagine myself playing the Guira. Obviously, we're not going to do only one motion with the Guira, right? It's a big metal thing. We'll just pick up my water bottle, for instance, with my pencil. We're improvising here, right? So I mean, you could do one articulation, but it sounds better if you do. So with that in mind, I'm going to turn the bass off. Okay, so we got these articulations here. We want an eighth note grid. So down and then up. Why don't we do down, down, up, down, down, up, down? Something like that. Let's see how it sounds. All right, so we're gonna go with that for maybe the first three measures, and then let's on that fourth measure, let's add in some long notes. So I think of it as like a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and it's like a very African 6/8 type of deal going on. So let's take a listen to that. Okay, so it's not perfect, but we're gonna go with it. You can obviously make adjustments as you go. So let's duplicate that. We want our Guira part to have what I like to call sazon, which is Spanish for seasoning. Anyone can go ch 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 ch. But if you listen to bachata music, they get pretty creative with it and it sounds good. Let's do a little fill in here halfway through, which is right about here. This will kind of catch the listener off guard, right? So we're going to do kind of like a 16th note type of deal. I'm thinking like a da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, there we go. We can play with volume automation to make it more believable, but that'll take too long. Okay, so we are halfway through our Caminando Derecho with our Guira part. We're just going to do Control D. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. So if you want to hear the entire thing with the bass line so far. Okay, great. That brings us to our Majao. The Majao, as opposed to the Caminando Derecho. Caminando Derecho is very much an eighth note part for the bongos, whereas the Majao is more of a quarter note part. So if you start listening to a lot of bachata, you'll start to be able to identify when the Majao sets in, because the bongos will start playing quarter notes as opposed to the eighth note rhythm in the Caminando Derecho. Two quick things. First off, I've been trying to research the origins of the word Majao. I can't find anything. If anyone out there knows why this is called the Majao or what Majao means, let me know in the comments. I'd be really interested because I haven't had much luck. Okay, and then my other note was that even though this is more of a quarter note pattern that we're going to do, and let's make this light blue to kind of show differentiation, we can still add in fills pretty liberally, I would say, but it's definitely more of a quarter note rhythm. So let's start with just quarter notes. We're going to go da, 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 do, da, 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 do, do. Let's just do that for now. For the entirety. Why is it doing that? Okay, so obviously this is going to be pretty boring, right? We got to add in some flair. Maybe make these, you know, every other time a 2-hit. And then, you know, why don't we do this? So we get a 2-hit, and then this we could actually make 16th notes and do the same thing over here. We're just trying to vary things up, make it not so boring to listen to. There's nothing I hate more than listening to boring, repetitive music. Okay, so we got that. It's still, I think, a bit predictable. So let's really try and get creative here. Okay, maybe we can make this go up here, and we can add in a 8th note there. And then I'm just gonna clear that out, and let's see what the bass is doing here. That'd be a good reference point, right? This might be a bit off the deep end, but we're gonna see if it works. So we're gonna do some 16th note triplets. I'm just kind of basing this off of what I'm hearing in my head, just kind of how I go about programming in general. Here we have our hemiola again, so I'm gonna go da, 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 da. We really want that last one to maybe pop. So as opposed to raising the volume, we're going to lower these volumes. Maybe do like a bit of a crescendo, I don't know. So here's going to be our Majao so far. Okay, so maybe we'd make this slap actually the open. Okay, yeah, I think that'll sound good. Let's just move on. Okay, so Guira part, we're gonna do a little different than last time. I'm kind of curious to see what this top sounds like, if we just have like a staccato type of deal going on. And of course we want quarter notes. So let's see what that sounds like. Mute the bass here. Not sure what exactly they are referring to by top, but I'm gonna get my water bottle again. I saw a video and the guy kind of has like a steel brush and he's going like this. And that's kind of what it sounds like to me. Okay, let's get rid of this on the 4th beat and then also on the 8th beat. So we're going to put in some fills in there. Okay, I'm kind of hearing something in my head, and it's like a little skip note here. Okay, if we really wanted to, we could get crazy with the automation, but we're just not going to worry about it. Obviously, you do want to use this volume automation to make it sound like it's just one instrument. Well, let's go for it. Let's there we go. Yeah, I think that's good enough. Get out of automation mode. I think hit A. Yep. And, you know, variation's the name of the game, folks. Let's make a kind of like a 16th note thing in there. And we do want to be looking at our bongo part. Here's a pretty cool thing we can do. We can kind of double that hemiola. So So okay, so here's how the Majao sounds with the bass. So maybe get rid of that last note. Alright, I'm happy enough with that. So that brings us to the Mambo. Mambo is like the solo section. So this is our opportunity to show off. We kind of have to imagine that we're the musicians and come up with creative rhythmic ideas. So let's go into our bongos. And I'm just gonna start off with some 16th note triplets, because those usually sound good, right? We must remember what Miles Davis said. It is not about the notes. It is about the space between the notes. So we're going to go full on with this assault on our listeners' ears, and then we're going to rest for like, I don't know, maybe the same amount of time or more, and then they're going to be like, what? We'll do that. We'll do another hemiola thing over here. My fucking neighbor loves pissing off my dog. Okay, that's what I want. Okay. And then we're going to do kind of the same idea in with eighth notes. Da, 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 da. 1 E, a 2, and a. Alright, so next thing I'm thinking is like some kind of Neil Peart-esque triplets. So da 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 da. Okay, that sounds very oh, those are flamps. That's why it sounds like that. Okay. We want the open tone, right? How about we just do, okay, back to normal mode. Okay, so I'm thinking like something like that. So let's listen to that. Okay, so the Guira part, we're going to try and maybe replicate that bongo part on the Guira. See if we can get some good results there. So how do we start? Let's just, here, let's do this. We're going to copy and paste the Caminando Derecho of our Guira and go from there. Okay, rid of that. I am wondering if here we could get away with those triplets. That'd be really cool. Let's give it a try, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. 16th note triplets. Let's see how that sounds. Okay, we're gonna listen to it from the beginning. Alright, so there you have it. As in my last video on cumbia drums, my best advice for learning how to program bachata drums would be just listening to a whole lot of bachata music. In my tutorial, you'll notice I pretty much use the bongos as a starting point, and then I program the guira around the bongo part. You could try doing it the reverse. So you start with the guira part and then you program the bongos around that guira part. Final piece of advice, don't be afraid to use that humanize feature. We don't want everything to be perfect sounding because then it will sound very much MIDI, which it is, but we don't want it to sound MIDI. We want it to sound human. All right, in conclusion, while bachata is not my favorite music to listen to or produce, I can understand its universal appeal. Bachata is a genre associated with sentiments of romance. You really want your percussion to set the mood and spice things up. If you made it this far, thank you for watching this video. If you got any value at all out of this video, I'd appreciate you subscribing to the channel for more music tutorials. Let me know in the comments what Latin genre you'd like me to take on next. I'm a drummer, so I like talking about that side of things. Have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.